You're a business owner.
Check.
You have business owner's insurance.
Check.
And 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been enough. Today, small businesses are being targeted and taken down by hackers. Medical offices, consultants, CPAs, any business that's built success has everything to lose. You probably have cybersecurity installed on your computer.
Check.
But you probably don't have cyber insurance. Coverage against loss and damage if your data is compromised. Cyber Policy covers that gap. Cyberpolicy.com shops the leading cyber insurers to find you the right policy at the right price to avoid a catastrophe. Coverage against loss and damage if your data is compromised. Get a custom quote today in just 4 minutes. And for a limited time, use the promo code BLOGTALK to get Norton's small business protection for up to 5 devices. Free when you sign up for cyber insurance. Plan, prevent, insure. Visit cyberpolicy.com. That's cyberpolicy.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm called the Big Game Hunter because I coach people to play their professional and personal games big. This evening I was reading an article in the New York Post written by John Crudele. And Crudele is a very interesting guy and has pointed out inconsistencies in reports over at least the 10 years I've been following him. And I just thought you might be interested in his take on the January 2016 jobs report. It reads, "Folks, this is a presidential election year, and somebody ought to be keeping an eye on the truthfulness of the government's economic statistics. And since I have to fill this space with something anyway, and I'm not a good doodler, I decided to volunteer. Remember, I already discovered that during the 2012 election, more than 100 data collecting computers were missing from the Census Bureau's Philadelphia region, at the same time that the unemployment rate was inexplicably dropping by an incumbent party-friendly amount. Some of these computers belonged to census managers and contained, you guessed it, raw data on the unemployment rate. Now, I don't want to go pointing fingers, at least not yet, but last Friday's employment data for January, which showed weaker than expected job growth, but also a drop in the unemployment rate, contains some very odd stuff. I'll focus on 2 oddities. One was in the report from Census that produces the employment data. The other was in the Labor Department survey that gives us the number of jobs created in January. And until some people at Census and Labor explain these oddities adequately to me, I won't believe either report. The unemployment report. This rate fell to 4.9% in January from the previous month's 5%. Based on this decline, President Obama proclaimed that the economy wouldn't be a factor in the upcoming election. Wrong. Since the U.S. economy continues to be on the verge of recession and the stock market is very shaky, down 8% this year, I'd say the president's opinion is either wishful or delusional, but nice try. So what really happened to the unemployment rate? The one that's headlined by all the newspapers did show a nice drop, and anyone too ignorant to know better might be crowing about it. Let me repeat some old stuff. The unemployment rate doesn't count people who've given up looking for work. And since the number of Americans participating in the labor force is the lowest it has been in a generation, it's clear to almost anyone that the falling jobless rate is being caused by people who are too discouraged to look for work. When you count just some of the folks who've given up looking, the unemployment rate jumps to 9.9%, both in January and December. And let me stress, is labor's number that media outlets don't pay attention to. If you include all the people who've given up looking for work, the unemployment rate could jump to 20%, although labor doesn't tally those folks in any of its statistics. The unemployment rate is also useless because I and an inspector general have caught census workers fudging the numbers, and it's apparently still going on. A new case of fabrication, this time in Tucson, Arizona, was recently reported to Census. Now for some new stuff about the January report. Because of Winter Storm Jonas, which occurred in the middle of Census interviewing period, Census kept its jobless survey going longer in all of its regions, including those where the weather was just fine. Sources say the extension was for 2 days. Census says it was for 1. The extension is also a bit puzzling since census enumerators who conduct the surveys could have more easily phoned snowbound people at home to ask their questions, even if they couldn't knock on doors. And someone at census also decided that some people who ordinarily would have recorded as failed interviews, called type A's, which means people couldn't be reached and wouldn't count toward the success rate, were to be changed to type B interviews. Type B's don't hurt census success rate, and according to a source that knows the survey well, could help lower the jobless rate. Census says only 51 households were reclassified. Sources claim it was more. Still, each of those 51 houses represents 5,000 respondents because of the weighted nature of the survey. Even with these relaxed standards, the Philadelphia and New York regions could barely complete 83% of the required survey. Labor demands a 90% success rate. The job count for January. The second oddity came in what's called the Establishment Survey, which is conducted by labor itself and gives us the monthly tabulation of new jobs that were created. That number also contains guesses at the number of jobs being created or lost in a given month. Again, it's a guess. In January, the guesstimate of how many jobs died, I put air quotes around that word, in the month is usually high because labor believes plenty of jobs die after the holidays. But someone at labor did a serious tweak to this year's guess and drastically cut the number of phantom jobs that died in January. How drastic? Like 25% less than the average number of dead jobs listed over the past 8 years. This January, labor guessed that 222,000 phantom jobs died. From 2015 back through 2008, the January guesses were 275,000, 307,000, 314,000, 339,000, 427,000, 356, and 378. You see, someone at labor decided the dead phantom job number needed a haircut. Since economic growth has not changed substantially over the past few years, there doesn't seem to be a reason this tweak was made. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics insists this change was consistent with past years. That's why someone needs to be paying close attention to the numbers. Interesting article. I thought I would share that with you. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. If I did, wake up! I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you found this interesting. My website is thebiggamehunter.us. Over there, you'll find my own take on the job market, and I don't go into that depth. Crudele is going through the numbers. I haven't. I'm just doing it from the standpoint of reporting the government numbers and my take on what the market is like. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. Lastly, if you have questions about job search, you're not alone. But instead of asking people who know as little as you or slightly more, schedule some time with me through my website. I'd be happy to answer your questions. I'm Jeff Altman. Have a great day. Take care.
Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online. Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.